So it begins. Yup, they're going to be using stuff like this to paint Florida as the example of exactly what you should not be doing, and in fact, lockdowns will be on the horizon, okay? Because as you can see here, this is BBC News, it's clearly spreading throughout the world. I hope you are all paying attention. Florida surpasses all-time record for hospital admissions. Oh my god. So, naturally, seeing a headline such as this, I wanted to do a little bit of investigation, okay? I wanted to see how many beds were in Florida, how many were being occupied at this time, and I was not surprised at all. Oh, it surpasses all-time records for hospitals. They're just not really overflowing or anything, okay? In the entire state of Florida, 2,100 people are hospitalized. That sucks for them, but it's, okay, it might be a record, but outside of that, okay, it says that 7.6 beds or 7.6% of beds are available, but then you take a look, it's like, okay, adult ICU available, a quarter full, okay, and then pediatric ICU, that's really irrelevant, but you're looking at like a 20% capacity right now. Not necessarily a crisis that they'd like it to be, but then you just take a look, hospitalization by age group, yeah, nothing surprising there whatsoever. Okay, that looks exactly the same as it's been forever. And then deaths by age group, again, the exact same shit. So why does the rest of the population have to lock down? Why is that the call? Why does there need to be more mask mandates? And that's still the call. The numbers just don't check out. They really don't. COVID third wave, Florida surpasses all-time record for hospital admissions. Oh my god, the number of COVID patients in Florida hospitals has risen to a new high, breaking records set during previous waves of before vaccines were available. That stupid Ron DeSantis not letting people be governed so hard. What a murderer. U.S. health officials say 11,515 Florida residents are currently in hospital. Okay. And then in the entire state, how many beds are there? How many people are like in a state where they need to be infirmed? When we looked at those numbers, and not exactly tipping the charts now, are they? Many are younger and healthier than patients seen earlier in the pandemic. We just looked at the numbers. I don't know if we can confirm that. On Saturday, Florida set a record for most new infections in a single day. Oh my god, and all of those people went rushing to the hospital, right? Republican governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, opposes efforts to make vaccinations or masks mandatory. Yeah, that's not the government's job. God, you motherfuckers, you just want somebody else to take control of your life. That's all it is at this point, okay? They don't want to have any responsibility, because responsibility requires them to take ownership over their own actions. And if you take a look at most of the people who keep pushing hardest for these regulations, they have the creakiest, fullest closets that the moment that you open it up, oh, the travesties that fall out. Across the U.S., 1 in 3 new cases last week were recorded in either Florida or Texas. Wow, why would they drag Texas into this one? I wonder why. Hospital beds in Florida are quickly filling up. Okay, as compared to when? Exactly. Compared to when? Some have already reached capacity. Really? You want to go back to the numbers? No, that's all right. With patients placed in hallways, lobby waiting areas, and makeshift overflow centers. Do you have any legitimate proof of that one, or are you just making it up? We have more COVID patients in our hospital with the surge than we did with the original surge. One hospital official in Tallahassee, Dean Watson, told NBC News. Okay, we have been living COVID for over a year and a half. The stress and strain on all the providers and nursing staff is really getting to everyone. Yeah, no, it really cuts into your TikTok dance time. It comes as vaccine rates have slowed since the spring. Yeah, because people who wanted to get the jab got the jab. What else you want? How many of those people that are in the ICU, how many of those people that are currently hospitalized followed that advice? I'm just asking. Over 70% of Americans have now received at least one jab, a milestone that President Joe Biden had hoped to hit by July 4th. Yeah, but at least he got to August long weekend. Close enough. Vaccination rates in Florida roughly mirrors the national average. So what are you pushing for, huh? Okay. What if there's no difference? If it was at like 30%, yeah, you might have a point or something. Perhaps, maybe. I don't think so. We can take a look at the older data to show that it really doesn't much matter. But if it's exactly the same as the rest of the population, what the fuck are you talking about? You're not. You're just looking to blame somebody. You're just looking at justification that being open doesn't work because you can't look at the science, you can't look at any of the data, you can't look at the studies in order to justify that position. But you still want to control the population, so you're just going to grasp at straws. You're going to take the advice of one hack doctor who, I don't know, potentially works at a fucking clinic in Tallahassee, and you're going to take his information and run with it? Fuck off, BBC. Then, like I said, New York City to mandate vaccine passports to enter restaurants and gyms. There we go. There we go. Okay. You have more companies. I could run down a list because there's another list out there where you're going to have to show your papers in order to get into a couple of different gyms, which as a personal trainer is an affront to society because I like to advise people as to what they put inside their body, not tell them what to put inside of their body. And more restaurants, more businesses, more corporations, but you kind of get the point at this time that, oh, they can just do whatever they want. It's my private business. Fucking argument never gets old, right? No, it has a long time ago. And yeah, so now to go anywhere, it's not enough to just mask up. Now you're going to have to get the jab, but don't leave your mask at home because you still have to wear that because they follow the science. Cool. New York City will mandate patrons show proof of vaccination prior to entering indoor establishments, including restaurants and gyms. Mayor Bill De Blasio is expected to announce Tuesday, and he already has. The announcement comes one day after Andrew Cuomo begged private business owners to discriminate against unvaccinated patrons by defying them entry into their establishments. See where it comes? Oh, vaccine passports, that's just a right-wing conspiracy theory. Then, oh, we need to start looking at vaccine passports. And then, oh, you know what? No, we're not looking at them this time. Oh, okay, you know what? Maybe that's a good idea because not enough people are getting vaccinated. And now, guess what? They're here. Given enough time, it always plays out this way. New York officials are calling the program the Key to New York City Pass. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's still as totalitarian as it gets. Let's be honest, you're creating two classes of society, something that was abolished somewhat 60 years ago at this point, but no, you got to bring it on back because just like everything else, it seems to just be cyclical and comes back into fashion. According to the New York Post, enforcement will begin in September following the public service announcement campaign. Administrative officials said patrons will be required to show businesses their proof of vaccination via the Excelsior Pass, which New York rolled out this year, or present their CDC control papers. A Democrat mayor has hinted that several more measures against the unvaccinated are forthcoming. Yep. Here we go. Here we go. We're moving down that genocide slide. If they want to ramp up the rhetoric, fuck it, fine. We've got to shake people at this point and say, come on now, we tried oh my, wow. We could not have been more kind and compassionate. Really? Well, and anybody who didn't believe you, anybody who didn't march with you lockstep, fascists, Nazis, idiots. But now, yeah, you're just continuing down that train of thought. Look forward to the camps and the boxcars full of people very soon. Free testing everywhere, you turn, incentives, friendly, warm embrace. You did none of that. Okay, yeah, some of the testing was free. Yeah, the jab was free. But being friendly and having a warm embrace, offering up your burgers and your fries, looking like Steve Buscemi sitting at the fucking desk like, hello, fellow kids, I'm a big fan of the Brooklyn basketball team. Oh, what is that? The Knickerbockers are back in the playoffs? Oh, is Patrick Ewing healthy? But no, I guess that was being compassionate. And now the voluntary phase is over. That was another thing that he was talking about. Oh, potentially, you know what? The voluntary phase needs to be over. And guess what? Now it is. I'd imagine similar things are going to be happening in the likes of Chicago, Los Angeles. They instilled mask mandates like a month ago at this point. So I'd imagine this system is probably in the works. And it all seems to line up perfectly with like the end of September, the beginning of October, the end of October. You have to get the jab, otherwise you lose your job and then you won't be allowed to go anywhere. It's pretty rich shit coming from the people who want abortions on demand. It's my choice. It's my body. It's my choice. Cute. Fucking cute. Don't worry, it gets worse. I know it may seem weird. Trust me, buckle up, folks. NIH director suggests parents wear masks at home around children. I think this is where they fuck up. Because for a long time they got away with critical race theory, that it's different name for a very long time. And then they started to go after the kids. And now they're employing the exact same tactic, okay? You've got to do this for your kids. Because no, they're not old enough to get the jab, okay? Because the Constitution enshrines certain things when it comes to children, so we can't outright force them to get it right now. But anybody over a certain age at home, because, oh, you wouldn't want to expose somebody, and especially if it's a child, they have like a 99.98% survivability rate, but you wouldn't want to experience that, or you wouldn't want to expose them to anything that might give them the sniffles or a little bit of a mild cough. No, of course not. You're going to have to start wearing your mask at home. Because this is where all these ideas come up from. This is why we got to talk about all of this stuff coming from all of these weird corners. Because you know what? The NIH, it has the ear of the White House, just like Fauci's organization, NIH, and then the WHO, and then Rochelle Walensky's CDC. All of the crazy shit that they've been talking about is finally coming to fruition, okay? That was the joke. Oh, what are you supposed to wear your mask inside your house at all times? Oh, we've all heard a couple of those little anecdotal stories out there that, oh, I went over and I seen somebody and they just wouldn't take off their mask at all times. Well, now, guess what? We are moments, days, weeks, months away from having a full-time mask mandate. Let's see what this fucking nut job has to say. The head of the National Institute of Health, it's not about health anymore, suggested Tuesday that parents should wear masks while at home around children, even if they don't have COVID. That makes sense. It really does. It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense because if you follow this, you should just wear one over your mouth, one over your eyes, one over your nose, one over your ears, and just secure them with a long strand of rope just to make sure none of them slip, like you should, off of a creaky old stool. It's clear that the variant is capable of causing serious illness in children. Okay? Just because you say it doesn't make it true. You heard those stories coming out of Louisiana pediatric ICUs. Oh, really? One specific case from one specific source. Interesting. Where there are kids as young as a few months old who are sick from this. How sick? Sick enough to institute a policy where you always have to wear masks at home? Interesting. Dr. Francis Collins said during a CNN interview, although he admitted that such cases are rare because he still needs to cover his ass because, oh yeah, it's a deadly, horrible, terrible disease. But we need to have a little bit of wiggle room in case we need to do, something else in the future. Because even if we get through this little stretch, and I'm cautiously optimistic that we will, something else is going to come up because they've seen the amount of power that was available. They took it. And if they give it up once, they won't be giving it back up again. That's the reason why the recommendations are for kids under 12. Oh, okay, cool. So they give them an extra decade. Just wait for Fauci's organization, NIH, to get a hold of that, and they'll be dropping that age. That they avoid being in places where they might get infected. Like anywhere? Like anywhere. Are we back to the point where we don't know how this is transmitted? Have we lost like a year and a half of study? Which means recommendation of mask wearing in schools and at home, Collins said. Parents of unvaccinated kids should be thoughtful about this, and the recommendation is to wear masks there as well. I know that's uncomfortable. No, it's just outright fucking stupid. But you know what? Somebody says something this stupid, and people are liable to just sign up and just follow the experts, bro. And just follow everything that these moron authoritarians want you to do in a lockstep, because it wasn't that long ago, right? Because there was one, I think they were both in Canada, because of course it's up here in Canada, of the mothers who were live tweeting their kids having to text them, or they could hear them crying through the walls because they needed to self-isolate for 2 weeks, and that they'd just be able to open up the door and then hand through some food and then close them and just leave them be in their rooms. I don't know for sure if that happened, okay, because they're tweets and it's really hard to substantiate any of these fucking weirdos existing. You could see that, okay, because I still go out for a run every morning, and even when I'm outside, there's still some people walking around just outside, and lately it's been so smoky you could cut it with a knife, so I understand a mask in this situation, but still, I digress. When it's nice and sunny and bright and shiny outside, even when it's 40 fucking degrees, well, nobody was out when it was there because, well, I'm fucking insane, but I digress once again. People who are out there, I see them. I'll see somebody on a bike wearing a mask, no shit. And then some people walking the trails as well, and then they'll see me or hear me running, and then they'll basically just peel off the fucking path in order to give me like a 10-foot berth. If you're that scared to go outside, if you're still wearing your mask outside at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Somebody got a hold of your thought pattern and totally polluted it. Do you know anybody like that? Get to know what they're thinking on this level. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to do it face to face. You'd have to do it through email or some kind of a firewall because they think that maybe the virus could be transmitted through email. So I would just like to know, because I don't know anybody that paranoid, okay? And I can't get close enough to talk to these people I see on the paths that fucking take a dive bomb into the bush. It's just that's where government officials, these unelected bureaucrats, want to take everybody. But I feel like we're smart enough over here to know that that's all horseshit. That you don't need to follow these morons, because it's not about the virus anymore. And fuck, it really hasn't been for like the past year and a half. So take a look at the numbers for yourself. I provided them, of course. Everything will be linked in the description below. And now we're going to transition and talk about some good news happening at the Olympics. Yeah, I know it's weird, right? It's very weird, but some of it's not unforeseen as well. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.